ဒီကနေ့မျက်စိရှိပါဖြစ်ပွားစေလို့ရှိရင်ဟိုသုံးပါးပြတ်ပုံပေါ့လေထပ်ပြီးတော့ပြောပါဦးမယ်လူတ attva တွေမှာအရေးကြီးဆုံးအစိတ်ပိုင်းဟာဥခေါင်းပဲဥခေါင်းပြလို့ရှိရင်ကျန်တဲ့အစိတ်ပိုင်းတွေဘာမှအလုံးမလုံးနိုင်တော့ဒီတော့ဥခေါင်းပိုင်းဟာအရေးကြီးဆုံးပဲဝတ်သုံးပါးထဲမှာကိလေသာဝတ်ကအရေးကြီးဆုံးပဲဥခေါင်းနဲ့တူတယ်သူကတော့
Today, Sayadaw will speak about how if one develops the Eightfold Path, the 3 cycles will be cut off. And he is speaking about this again, repeating this. In humans, in the human body, the most important part of the body is the head. Without the head, the other parts are not able to do anything. So the head is the most important. And among the 3 cycles, the cycle of kilesas is what is most important. Because without the cycle of kilesas, the other 2 cycles will not arise. In the body, other parts of the body may be replaced if they're damaged or lost. But the head is something that cannot be replaced. And in the case of the cycles, if there is the cycle of kilesas, then the cycle of actions, kamma, will also occur. And if the cycle of actions is present, then the cycle of results, vipaka vata, will also occur. And when a new life occurs as the result, the basic element, one of the basic elements in it is ignorance and craving. So with this basis, again, the cycle of kilesas, then the cycle of actions, kamma, and the cycle of results, vipaka, will occur again. And again in a new lifetime, this basic element of ignorance and craving will be there. So in this way, the 3 cycles revolve. In the human body, the head being the most important part, without the head, the other parts are not able to do anything. And with the 3 rounds, the cycle of kilesas is similarly, the most important thing. And when this is cut off, then the other cycles will stop completely. So Sayadaw will speak about this in connection with the practice. Monks have their respective sila. And men and women who practice, men and women have their sila, also lay people. And this basic sila must be present. This must be there. So monks have their own and lay people have their own sila. Whatever is our sila, we have to have it pure. And if this purity of sila visuddhi, is there, then one can work to develop citta visuddhi, which is purity of mind. One can develop purity of mind by either samatha or by vipassana. And here yogis are developing this by vipassana jhana. This means that every arising object in one's body, when the object arises, one observes it with steadfast mindfulness, and the mind becomes collected on the object. So this is vipassana jhana. And when this is strong enough, then the nivaranas, the obstacles to concentration and wholesomeness, are prevented, and the mind becomes clean. This is citta visuddhi. And when the mind is clean, then one comes to know that matter or rupa is one thing, and nama or mind is another. When one knows like this, then the view of self is eliminated. The reason why the view of self is eliminated is because one observes the mind and matter that is really within one and sees them as they are. Thus one eliminates this view of self. And this is Ditthi Visuddhi, purity of view. If one continues to observe, one will come to see how mind and matter are related as cause and effect. Mentality is the cause for matter, and matter is the cause for mind. Matter is also the cause for matter, and mind is also the cause for mind. They are related in these ways. And the yogi who is practicing respectfully comes to know this. And coming to know this, one becomes free of doubt regarding cause and effect. One understands this is the way it is. Everything in my body is related as cause and effect. And in the past, this was also so. And as long as this continues, this mind and body continues, it will continue to be so, that things are related as cause and effect. And that's all. That's all there is. So in knowing this, one understands that what happens is not created by a creator being. At this point, this is not yet Vipassana knowledge, but it is good enough to begin for Vipassana knowledge to start to arise. Respectful yogis can reach this point in the practice within 1 week, and some within 2 weeks. If one has not reached this stage within 2 weeks, it means that one does not understand the benefits of satipatthana or does not value or cherish them. One sees cause and effect, how things each arise due to their own causes, mind and matter. At this stage, seeing cause and effect, one just knows the individual characteristics of phenomena. One knows hardness or softness, flowing or stickiness or solidity, heat, warmth, coldness, stiffness, tension. One knows seeing, hearing, smelling, tasting, touching. One just knows the true nature. And then one comes to see how it occurs and then it passes away. The abdomen rises and then passes away. And so one sees how things start and continue and then have an end. And this is something that is common to every single bit of mind and matter, that it has this start and end, it arises and passes away. So one comes to know, starts to know what mind and matter all have in common. And some yogis, they see how things arise and then pass away and are impermanent. They see this impermanent characteristic. And some people see the oppressiveness of this, how this is suffering. Some people see how this is without any inherent self. It's just process happening on its own. So these are the characteristics that all mind and matter have in common. That mind and matter which arise due to cause and effect. And what knows this is Vipassana knowledge. Vipassana knowledge knows these three characteristics. Before, one used to think that one was a self and one wanted to get good things for oneself. But when one sees the object being observed arise and pass away very quickly, the old is always being replaced by the new again and again. One comes to see how this happens in a fleeting way. And then the yogi experiences things, as Sayadaw mentioned previously. The yogi experiences lights in a special way. And knowledge, what the yogi knows, is very clear. Very clear. And one experiences things such as joyous interest, rapture, tranquility, happiness, and the yogi is no longer bored with the practice. So if one continues to observe, one will see how the object arises and passes away in a very, very quick manner. So at this time one knows the true nature of each thing that one observes, and one also knows its common characteristics very clearly. Knowing means that ignorance cannot arise. Ignorance is dispelled when there's knowing. It's just like when the light is turned on, darkness automatically goes away. When there's knowing, then there's not unknowing. And there's not any knowing in the wrong way. This is what is meant by cutting off the head of the kilesas. This is cutting off avidya, ignorance. And thus there won't be any, because ignorance is being cut off, knowledge is arising, there won't be any thinking that this is good and wanting it. There won't be craving for it. And there won't be any grasping onto it, the type of wanting that is extreme and only satisfied if it gets what it wants. There also won't be any, so this is upadana, grasping, and there won't be any grasping on involved with the idea of self. So there will be no detupadana, the grasping with clinging. In this way, the cycle of the kilesas is being cut off. And when the cycle of kilesas is cut off, nothing can result from this. The ordinary good deeds, the ordinary kusala that is based on kilesas, this won't be performed. And also there will be no akusala kama performed. So in that way there will be no actions, no kama, no cycle of actions. Without the cycle of actions, kamavata, there will be no vipakavata, cycle of results. Therefore the three cycles of kilesas, kama and vipaka, defilements, actions and results, come to an end. And if one analyzes what is present in a moment of practice at that time, there are the path factors of sila, the path factors of samadhi, and the path factors of panya. These are all present. This is the stage of seeing the very fast arising and passing away of phenomenon. And one continues to observe. One's effort, sati, and concentration, virya, sati, and samadhi, become better. And then one doesn't need any special effort, no special aiming needed or effort needed to observe the object. Sati automatically observes the arising object one after another, and the mind falls collectedly on the object again and again. And one comes to know. So one sees the object and the noting mind, just this pair, again and again. And it's like seeing two people jump off a bridge into water again and again. So before this, one sees the object disappearing, but one did not see the mind, the observing mind, disappear. But at this stage in the practice, one sees the object of observation disappear, and one also sees the noting mind, the observing mind, disappear. So this is called pati vipassana, seeing both the object and the noting, observing mind disappearing in a pair. So this is, at this point, the observation is very good. And at this point, there's no form. One doesn't see any hand or leg. There's no person. There's no man. There's no woman. One is just seeing mind and matter very, very clearly. At this stage, one knows the object being observed, and therefore ignorance does not arise. One also knows the observing mind as it disappears, so ignorance does not arise. The kilesas of avidya, tanha, and upadana are all being cut off. As when light arises, darkness disappears, so too the kilesas disappear with knowing. And when the kilesas are not present, then there are no actions based on kilesas. So there won't be any unwholesomeness, and there also won't be the type of wholesomeness which results in future lives. There will just be the bhavana kusala, the wholesome meditative mind occurring, which leads to the end of suffering. So this is why it is said, cut off kilesas, kama stops, and also there will be no more results. Once the cycle of kilesas, if the cycle of kilesas occurs, then also there will be actions based on them, kamavata, and with actions, when these actions bring results, then there will be vipakavata. But now there will be no kilesas, and thus no actions performed, and thus no results arising. So these three cycles of kilesas, kama, and vipaka all stop. And this stopping is called vivata. So the wholesome mind which arises at this time is called vivata gami kusala. At this time, the Buddha used a word to describe what happens that is very appropriate. And this word is santi, santi, S-A-N-T-I. And this means that there's freedom from the agitation of lust. The agitation of lust, raga, is being stilled. There's freedom from the agitation of dosa, anger. This is being stilled. The agitation of moha, not knowing, is being stilled. And there's no roots to the kilesas either. These roots of kilesas are also eliminated. In the practice, when this happens, say it happens one time each second, one observation per second, then in 1 minute there will be 60 moments where raga, lust, and the other kilesas are being stilled and are dying out. And this is called santi, this stillness and dying down. It's not permanent, it's momentary, because it is occurring at the moment of vipassana knowledge. Therefore it is called tadanga santi, the peace that happens at that moment. And So when there are kilesas, there will be agitation. There won't be this stillness. But in the practice, this peace and stillness that comes at the moment of vipassana knowledge is very, very clear. And this is tadanga santi, momentary peace occurring. At this time, if the yogi continues to observe after reaching this stage, one will come to know the knowledges of Vijnana, Adinavajnana, Nebidanyana, and so on. And the noting will become very refined. And each stage of the way one will experience tadanga santi, this momentary peace. At the moment of vipassana knowledge, when vipassana knowledge matures, vipassana knowledge involves both the elimination of kilesas on the gross level by sila, and the elimination of the obsessive kilesas, the pariyotana kilesas, by samadhi. And when vipassana knowledge occurs stage by stage, then every second of the time, every second one knows sabhava, knows true nature, then the refined kilesas, the roots of the kilesas, are being uprooted. One is developing the forerunner path, Pobhabhaga Magga. This is very evident, and this is why it is said that when one develops the Eightfold Path, the cycle of suffering is cut off for good. When one develops the forerunner path, then the three cycles, the cycles of kilesas, kama, and results, these are cut off every moment of the time. And this cutting off is tadanga santi, momentary peace. If one continues to observe, one is sure to reach achanta santi, lasting peace. This peace is very clear and lasting when the object of observation comes to an end and the observing mind also comes to an end. They both stop completely. So one goes from observing this great stream of mind and matter that is continuously arising and passing away, this stream that is our existence. One goes from observing that to observing achanta santi, the cessation of nama and rupa, or mind and matter. If momentary peace, tadanga santi, is complete, then achanta santi, lasting peace, will happen automatically. In order to realize achanta santi, one simply has to work to complete tadanga santi, and this is done by observing every arising object with ardent effort and accurate aim. When the Buddha preached, he talked about tadanga santi and achanta santi, and these are both involved in the practice. These are things that are practically experienced. In the present day, people just believe. They believe without doing any type of practice. They believe in a supreme being that can save them. And this type of thing is called sammuti santi. Sammuti means that it is what people agree on, is conventional peace. So the way it goes is believe fully, believe completely in this being, great Brahma or whoever it is. And if you do, this being will save you. So in this, there's no practice, there's no theory, no practice, there's no results due to the practice. There's just accept this, and you will be saved. That's all there is to it. So the Buddha spoke about 3 kinds of santi, or peace. And Tadanga santi is that which we have to practice to develop before one reaches achanta santi. This momentary peace has to be developed, practiced with the 3 trainings, sila, samadhi, and panya. And when tadanga santi, momentary peace, is fulfilled, then naturally achanta santi will result. And when this happens, one will never accept any type of belief that is not based on cause and effect, that is not based on this practice. How can I say it? One will never believe in any type of other doctrine. So this is something that is very important in this day and age. Because Tadanga Santi becomes complete, that is, when Vipassana knowledge matures, for one who realizes Achanta Santi, the heap of lobha, greed, of dosa, anger, of moha, which had not been previously pierced or destroyed, these are destroyed all at once. And the wrong view of self and of a creator, this view called ditthi, this is also destroyed. So as knowledge arises, ignorance is dispelled. And when lightness arises, the darkness automatically disappears. So when one sees Achanta Santi, there will be no more wavering or skeptical doubt. This will be eliminated. This is connected with moha. And ditthi, or wrong view, is connected with lobha, or greed. So the lobha, the greed that is connected with wrong view, is eliminated. And the delusion that is connected with vicikiccha, or skeptical doubt, is also destroyed. So in this way, one's belief or view becomes correct. One understands that if one follows this path, it leads to the elimination of kilesas and to peace. And thus one won't have any more belief in practices like one has to fast and starve oneself in order to eliminate kilesas, in order to become pure. Or one needs to just have faith and then one will be saved. One won't have any false beliefs like this. In rituals, one will understand that only if one practices in a normal way will one get results. So one will no longer turn to practices that are not based on this rites and rituals. So what destroys these views, what destroys the view and greed and delusion, is Sotapatti Magga, the path knowledge of the stream winner. And this destroys the solid greed, anger and delusion, which had not been previously destroyed. The type of extreme base greed, hatred, and delusion which cause one's life to be low, which cause one to be born in low existences. This has been eliminated by realizing path knowledge. And the old actions that one had performed that could have resulted in this type of very low rebirth, they no longer can bring results. And one doesn't do anything new based on extreme greed, hatred, or delusion. that would result in a birth in the lower realms. So in doing this, this is because of the realization of the path. So at most, one will only have 7 more existences going between the human world and the Deva world. So in this way, there's a limit to one's traveling through samsara. Before realizing path knowledge, there's no limit to how long samsara can go on. One can just keep on going without any limit. But once one has realized Sotapannahood and become a stream winner, there's now a limit to one's existences in samsara. There's a limit of only 7 more existences. So this is another benefit. So if one does not practice Satipatthana Bhavana, and there is not any Tadanga Santi or Ajanta Santi yet, then the kilesas of Lobha, Dosa and Moha, these heaps of greed, hatred and delusion, can sometimes occur very strongly. And sometimes this stream can calm down. So if they occur strongly and go to the extent of becoming transgressions, then it means that the root of the kilesas, the root of greed, hatred and delusion has not been eliminated. For a sotapanna, a stream winner, the roots of the kilesas have not been eliminated, but there is no potential to commit actions. There's no potential for them to happen in an extreme way. There's also a limit on one's future lifetimes. One has only 7 more lifetimes as a human or celestial being. So most of all, one no longer commits any unwholesomeness that leads to birth in the lower realms. So these 2 benefits, these are the benefits of Sotapannahood, are that the ocean of samsara is dried up so that one has a limited number of future lifetimes, and also that the door to the lower realms, which are devoid of happiness. In Apaya, there's no happiness at all. And the path to these lower realms of Apaya is closed. So when one says that, a sotapanna, reaching this point, one has not eliminated all the kilesas, just a portion of the kilesas, the ones which are most important. And this is to say that the less important kilesas are still present. The most important ones are deti and vicikecha, wrong view and skeptical doubt, as well as the grossest level of greed, hatred and delusion, which lead to the rebirth in lower realms. So this is what has been eliminated. But there are others that remain to be eliminated. And this topic will be continued tomorrow. However, in essence, what Sayadaw said is that if one practices the trainings of Sila, Samadhi and Panya, the practice of Satipatthana, then this is the practice which makes one a true human being, which gives one the capability to have a humane heart and to develop special knowledge above average human knowledge. So this has a guarantee. It is guaranteed to bring these results. And only the Buddha gave this guarantee and taught in a way that is connected with practice. So those who have faith, try. And if in 1 week, one can see something special. If in 1 month one has not seen anything special, then it means that one does not have faith, or one has faith but does not make enough effort. So for today, this is all. Sadhu.